To everyone, I'm Ada from Boys and Rock, and today I have the honor to have with us, Michael Catton. First, I want to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to hear. Of course, before speaking about your solo project and your single that has been released recently, I wanted to ask you about your personal career. So, how Michael started to get in touch with music. So, as the beginning, like a young adult, a young teenager, and then moving forward until the famous 10 to the Lady.
Yeah, of course. It took a long time to get where I am. I guess it's been a long journey, and I started out listening to music from a young age and connecting with a lot of music that I listened to, and that started out with like the pop rock of Michael Jackson, and moving through some of the early and late '60s rock with the Who, and eventually landing in the heavy metal scene,
but it was like
doing different things.
It was like of course the Who, Michael Jackson is like another type from, I don't know, just hard rock. We are basically, and it was like a changing from out of nowhere, or someone influenced like in your family, in your life.
Well, I didn't have a choice in the beginning with the Michael Jackson thing, because it was the only cassette tape we had when I was a kid. So I would hear it in the car on repeat.
So you were like the old tapes.
Exactly, old school. And I really love that. I really love Michael Jackson. And when I was 12, my dad had got me the Who CD, and I'd never heard like proper rock music before.
And that's
what a way to start, right?
Yeah, that's a perfect. I mean, you can say like the beginning of the base, the bottom of the beginning, and then to the rock music, the classical music as well. And of course,
exactly. That kind of introduced me into the classic rock and the '80s rock world, and I guess that coming from listening to these different genres of rock and heavy metal and pop kind of helps to create a bit of a new sound and a personal sound, so you don't sound like one specific band or one specific genre.
Yeah, that's something that I see and I listen in your single, because like many people don't know, but it's our second interview, but like I previously said as well, your sound is reminds me a lot of the hard rock, not like, but mainly hard rock from late 70s and 80s, but as well as that new fresh, I don't want to say new fresh sound that reminds me of some of a little bit of rock and roll. That's something, these new things that I like it about this rock and roll, like I'm driving an Harley Davidson at the sunset, and something like that, or the Motley Crue video, girls, something like that. Just you have a different vibes from that single that we will talk in a little bit. So that's I think where the influence come from.
Yeah, exactly. It's all these different influences, and then recording in the 2020s just it gives you this new sound, and that's something that my producer and guitarist Soren Anderson also brings to the table. He gets this big sound, so you're just punched in the face with every.
Have you ever recorded previously, before even as well 10 to the Light, something by your own?
Well, I mean, I used to do like bedroom recordings on my computer and a microphone, right? So starting out slow. But I did. I was in a recording studio with my high school band and did an EP with them.
Really?
And later, that was like my first studio experience.
Your first.
I've got a taste for it.
Yeah.
And then later on, I played in an Iron Maiden tribute band, because I'm a complete Iron Maiden nutcase. And we recorded an EP as well with some of our favorite
Okay,
Maiden songs.
that's
And then
that.
eventually I
There's
joined Tainted
somewhere
Lady.
there is somewhere available this EP you recorded from. I
Oh, they might be on YouTube, but I warn
oh
you,
really?
I was
Which was the
I
name?
was in, I was incredibly sick when we recorded the Iron Maiden thing. So so there are some good parts and some not so good parts.
Okay, so
But
we
my
don't
high school
say
band, I think we're on YouTube as well. We were called Jonatals.
genitals.
The
Uh,
the
The
name
Iron
was not
Maiden
mine.
band, the Iron Maiden tribute band. We don't say that. We leave it to the to people to wonder which is the
Yeah, let me re-record some bits of it, and then I might let you know.
yeah, perfect. And of course, I mean, of course, you're from UK. Then, of course, that just to the people understand better as well. You moved to Denmark, so that's where you started mainly to work. Leave you the words about that.
Yeah. I grew up in England. I'm half English and half Danish, so I lived in England until I was about 12.
Okay.
And then me and my family moved to Denmark, and that's kind of when there was an opportunity to pursue music because we moved to a town where there's a music school, and this is when I started really getting into hard rock. So
Okay.
my parents got me a guitar, and I started
Like,
learning all these riffs and
so that's amazing.
trying to play.
Your parents pushed, not pushed, but like encouraged you to
Yeah,
play
exactly. Yeah, they're
guitar, your music.
very encouraging. Yeah, and
That's
they're
amazing.
to this day they're still my biggest fans.
And if, I don't know if it's true or not, but because you can say, but in Denmark, there is true there is as well this huge, like I can say, circle of artists, like a lot of musicians, just like I don't want to say that's the country of music, but there is really like for artists as well, like street artists, they have more chance to maybe being out there, put something in the market in the music field, respect maybe other country. I don't know. I'm just asking because I heard a lot of people say that, for example, in the main city Copenhagen, there is I don't know a specific neighborhood about music and artists.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Um,
Like in your
I,
opinion,
I,
like
I can't speak for other
okay,
countries, but I guess in Denmark there are loads of like small up and coming rock bands like Tainted Lady once was, and I think
okay,
it's a very encouraging scene where it's a small country as well, so everyone knows everyone, and we have this
yes.
label that I'm signed on, Mighty Music,
The
where
amazing mighty music.
a
Thanks
lot
to
of great bands on.
Fernando for everything. Always say
Yeah,
that and always will say.
yeah. I mean, the guys at Mighty Music are great, and there are a lot of
Amazing.
bands that are getting a chance to release their
Yeah.
music through Mighty Music in
Yeah.
Denmark, and I think that's really doing wonders for the music scene in the country.
So and as well you mentioned before talented ladies. So just to make not make like a huge long, so just speak a little bit about your journey, your path with the tainted lady. I mean, what were you doing? If you have some nice memory with them, about the album you released with them.
Yeah, of course. It was a great time, and I was a singer in a band called Tainted Lady. For those who don't know, for about 5 or 6 years, and I was called up by them in 2015 when they asked. Well, they'd seen me sing on YouTube, and they were looking for a new singer. So
Okay.
we got together and recorded an EP with Soren Anderson way back in 2015, and that's kind of how that was born and how my relationship with
Your with
Soren
Soren
started.
started. Yeah, yes. And then basically, I mean, you of course moved now for your personal project, but in Tainted Light, I mean, you have some nice, I mean, like memories about live performing or something that really stick with you after this experience with Tainted Lady.
Yeah, wow, there are plenty. I mean, we played some great stages here in Denmark. We mostly toured in Denmark, and we had some shows abroad as well in Germany and in Eastern
Okay,
Europe, and all the way down to Macedonia, where we
that
kind of
the opposite side of the
spontaneously,
world of Europe, like
yeah, 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 we were spontaneously invited to
yeah,
a festival in
okay,
Macedonia. So we kind of just bought tickets a few days before the weekend, and because they were
like
missing a
that.
band. Exactly, just like that, and that was a lot of fun.
That's
Macedonia is a great place to play rock music.
how was the crowd in Macedonia? Because of course it's an
Oh,
amazing
they're
country by
crazy.
nature. It's amazing, but
They are
like
crazy. I mean, I don't know if there's a rock culture down there, but it really really felt like it, like much more than we experience here in Denmark
and
even.
And I don't think as a like Macedonia in your own personal as well curriculum as musician is really interesting because I don't heard a lot of band going in, for example, this country like Macedonia. It's the first time that someone
Mm.
mentioned me Macedonia, which is amazing, especially the capital, which is I don't want to go Skep, I don't know the pronunciations.
Skopje, yeah,
Skopje. It's beautiful. This all green wild nature is beautiful. So of course they have
Mm.
rock scene as well. They of course have it, but I think they should be more on the spotlight this country as well for touring because it's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I mean, they would eat up the rock bands. They were just crazy down there. We
yeah.
were in a town called Ohrid, which is this beautiful, really, really old town in the south of the
Oh,
country.
okay, it's
And
good.
yeah, yeah. So like right on the very near to the Greek border, I think.
They will
Beautiful
complete.
place, amazing place to play.
So basically it was one of, but of course as well like we spoke about your good memories with Talented Lady, but in general in your musical career there were some memories like as well as I don't know fan just as Michael of
Yeah, I
memories
mean,
about music that you really cherish like "Fuck, that was my moment, that was beautiful, that's I want to do it again."
yeah. There are a lot of things that have stuck with me, and some of them have been concerts that I've played myself with my band.
Okay.
But sometimes I just going to different concerts, and a few of the things that have stuck with me is when many years ago, Kip Winger, the lead singer of the 80s band Winger,
Winger, of
he was
course, Mr.
touring.
Kip, the bass
Yeah,
player. Yeah.
He was touring, doing a solo tour where he came by Denmark
Amazing.
and he played in a town called Horsens. And I'm just a huge fan of Kip
Fun.
and of the band Winger, and he's one of my idols. So I turned up to the venue like 4 hours before they opened, and it's just a small
Okay.
venue, so it was just ridiculous because I just wanted to. It would be cool if I just saw him, right?
Yeah, of
And then
course,
I
it's
was invited.
being your idol, of course.
Yeah, I mean that'd be crazy. And I was invited into the place because the owner of the venue he knew me from when I played there with my Iron Maiden tribute.
Okay.
So he invited me in from the cold just for a cup of coffee, and
Oh,
I went with him. And after about an hour, then Kip showed up and just walked through the door. And this is the first time I've ever seen anyone
you,
famous or anyone
yeah, you
talented,
admire. Yeah.
anyone that I admire. And he came through the door, and it just didn't seem like reality. So my jaw was on the floor,
Yeah.
completely starstruck. And
Yeah.
eventually, when I could talk, we got talking, and he found out I'm a singer, and then he asked if I wanted to come on stage with him and sing a song.
And I want to
I said
ask
yes.
you, which song do you sing then?
We sang "Miles Away," so they're
The
big ballads.
ballads. Oh my God, that's
But
what you felt it was like a huge responsibility to sing with him, like one of, I mean, the most well-known song of Winger.
yeah, yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Maybe there's
I'll
some
never
video
forget.
out there on YouTube of
Yeah,
this.
that's actually how Tainted Lady found me. That was a video they saw before they called me
All
up.
right.
So
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
really,
Okay.
yeah. So thank God I showed up 4 hours early to that show.
So thanks to Keep as well. You see, your
Yeah,
idol put
thanks
you.
Kip for making my career.
Yeah. Hi Keep, if you ever will watch
Yeah,
the
hi Kip,
video,
if you're watching,
we'll
it's
send
me,
him
Michael.
a
You remember
DM.
from 10 years ago or something?
Like when I was in my 20s and back and then remember me. But of course, just speaking about the present today, you moved on with your own personal project. Okay, so who is involved in the project? I know there's your brother as well is involved. Soren is
Yeah,
involved,
yeah,
and let's introduce the other.
yeah. That's right. I mean, Soren, I met through Tainted Lady. He produced our
Okay,
2 albums, and when Tainted Lady kind of ebbed out,
amazing.
then Soren asked if I wanted to do a project with him, maybe. Because he always said he admired my voice, and he's just an
Wow.
amazing guitarist.
Yeah,
Plays
yeah.
with
I
drums.
have him on, I have as a friend on Facebook. I found out, and I was like, I haven't, and I don't know. I checked, and so basically, I don't know if we ever spoke. I don't know. I have no idea. So the world is really small. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah, but yeah. So there's Soren and my
Yeah.
brother Chris, who sings in a band called Boys from Heaven, like very Toto inspired, very 80s.
Oh, really? Send me
So
the
we've
link.
always
Would be nice as well, an interview as well.
absolutely, yeah, I'm sure he'd love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, great band. So we grew up with the same music together, me and my
yeah.
brother. So we've written a lot of the songs together as well. And then
And
on drums we've got Alan Chakaya who plays in Pretty Maids.
a
Uh,
huge, huge, huge,
another
huge
huge,
band
another
from the
star.
80s. Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the bass player, Mike Gastov, both he and Alan play in Soren's instrumental trio, so they're kind of already a band
Yeah.
basically. They
So
know each
they
other
had
very
like all
well.
these feelings of, the feelings, the energy they created are inside a project band playing
Exactly.
together.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So
and
they know each other very well.
and when you started to, of course, recording, because of course Ready for the Tagging is your single of an upcoming album. Before speaking about the song, how we can say was the writing and the composition as well and the recording of the song? It was like, okay, we have that, so it was like immediately, or do you like to study on that? So I was like the recording of the album as well, of the single, the
Yeah,
music in general?
yeah. I mean, a lot of these songs I've started out when I was a teenager in my
Okay.
bedroom. So Ready for the Taking is actually probably the oldest song on the album.
Okay.
I wrote that as a teenager, or at least some of it. And then
You're
I
going
never had a band.
temporarily? You're going like with a chron with the time.
Yeah, it's like the longest song, the longest writing in history.
Is
It took about 10 years because
I don't
I
think it's,
never had
yeah, but it's
I never
cool.
had
I
a
mean,
band. I never had a band when I
yeah.
was writing it. So I wrote some of it and then it was just on the shelf for like a decade. And then when I got talking to Soren, then I showed him a few of my old songs and we
And
kind of finished the songs together and together with my brother as well.
okay, so
Um, so that's how a lot of these songs are written, and some of them were written in I don't know the weeks up to the album recording. So
okay,
some of them took a long time. Some of them were just it came
like
quite quickly.
yeah, like quickly. So basically, this as well created a good energy, an atmosphere in this project. This musician playing together. So all of you.
Yeah, and this project is all about just having fun. Me and the guys in the band. There's yeah, because it's not always fun playing music and playing in a band can be there can be some tensions
Yes, exactly.
and it's hard to get your song through. And
Yeah.
I mean, me and the guys in Tainted Lady, we had a great time together, and there's never been any difficulties. But they were already established before I joined, so they already had this sound, right?
So you basically
So
joined Tentalide as a new member.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And
Okay,
then we kind of developed a sound together that we could all get on board with, and
that was nice.
that's how those two albums came about.
You
But
you know.
this album for me, in my solo project, that's just where I can get everything that I feel I am. I can get that on a record,
So like
and
not
that for me,
only
that's
on the
amazing.
musical side, but all as well in the personal side, like who is Michael in that way.
Exactly, yeah, yeah, and that's something I haven't been able to do before now. So
And how
it's
does it
also
feel?
amazing. It's
That's,
amazing
that's
to have
amazing.
released this single and get such an
That's,
amazing response.
it's amazing.
It's it
And I
yeah, it's
heard Ready for the Taking. So this song, talk me about the lyrics and the say technical parts of the riff, the inspiration for the riff,
yeah,
for the sound, and as well for the lyrics as well. Yeah.
yeah. Of course, I mean the lyrics are just teenage. There's this
Yeah.
girl that you really like, and well, there's
So
not
it's
a.
a
It's
real story.
I don't know. I mean, it came about when I was listening to bands like Whitesnake and Def
Okay, yeah,
Leppard,
that's for sure can be from. Yeah.
and Whitesnake is just 100% sleaze and
Yes.
girls, and that's kind of
Yes.
just
Here we
my
go
take on
again. Still of
yeah,
the night. Only about girls and breaking heart.
yeah.
Like
So
White
this is just
Lion. White Lion are about broken heart. That's
yeah,
the perfect
exactly.
song for broken heart, for a breakup.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was just my
And yeah,
interpretation of David Coverdale, basically.
yeah. No, but I
And the music
mean
itself,
your voice, as I said, but I said again, is really like different. I mean, it's a huge, you have a huge vocal skill. And
Thank you.
nowadays in the hard rock scene, today's the contemporary hard rock scene, if there is a contemporary hard rock scene, because I think that you, and that's another question, are one of the first that is coming back with the hard rock scene, like that hard rock scene from the 80s. And you have that voice that reminds Mijanko Matijevic, Kip Winger, Mark Slaughter, David Coverdale. So basically, the voice. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess that just comes about from growing up listening to these artists and trying to emulate them at every opportunity, and some of the bits and pieces kind of just stick, and that becomes my voice. So yeah, those are my inspirations, and I'm glad to get the comparisons. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course, coming back to Ready for the Taking, you were talking about the lyrics that has begun first when you were like a teenager, and then you basically ultimated like in the present.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's hard to say something about the lyrics. They just kind of came out of me in this sleazy sleazy David Coverdale style.
Yeah, and that was as well for the songs, like as well for the technical part, like the riffs of the guitar, the beat of the drums, for the melody.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
as well.
I wrote the guitar riff for the verse 10 years ago, and it was kind of my. I felt like it was kind of Def Leppard.
Yeah, Kiss Def Leppard. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that the chorus, I think that came about when I introduced the song to Soren, and we kind of wrote the chorus together. So that was both of our doing.
I mean, since you were a teenager, you had that Whitesnake in you, that Def Leppard vibes on you. So as well from the technical part, wasn't it? That's not common, for a teenager. They maybe start now with brutal death metal.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of metal in the scene today, so it's a bit more difficult to find these classic rock
and
guys.
Here comes my question: how does it feel to be, they can say, the first in Europe, maybe the only one in Europe right now, putting outside as a hard rock musician, as sounds a strip basically sound? So, but then I didn't. Probably there will be someone playing, I don't know, in garage, but I didn't met no one. So you're the first. How does it feel?
Well, that's yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm sure I know there are plenty of people out there playing this music and maybe not having released any music officially, or maybe we just haven't heard about them. But I feel like a lot of the people I talk to, they listen to this music, and I think there's a resurgence in this 80s rock music, in this just fun, happy-go-lucky Van Halen, flamboyant,
and broken arms. Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, exactly. Just music where we can have some fun instead of having to think too hard.
War and then diseases. Come on, stop it. We have already in the news. Leave it in the news. When we listen to music, we want happy things. Just not horror stuff. I mean, it can be fun as well, but maybe when you're angry. But when you have fun and joy, or just focus, because I think with your song, but as well, I think it will happen with your further song in the album. People that listen can really like be in your shoes, like feel themselves, like feel a connection, because being a songs of the daily life of feelings mainly, they can personificate in you. That's beautiful, because that's what we need. You listen a song and say, oh, I'm not the only one. That's what we need to understand, to feel. And of course, like I think we spoke about your voice. Did you ever did any study like for vocal skill, like vocal coaching, or school for music, or it was like your natural talent? I think it's well natural, but you work through the years.
Yeah. I think well, I could always sing from quite an early age, and I don't know where that came from, because it's not my parents.
Maybe your grandfather, your grandparents, maybe.
I don't think anyone can sing. Maybe I'm adopted. I don't know.
Your brother is back in vocal. Okay, so both of you have both the same gift. Okay.
Yeah. We both have this gift, and it just kind of fell from the heavens, I guess. So I haven't had. Well, I've had some training. I mean, I used to sing in a church choir for many years, and that was cool. Brilliant training. And I also had some vocal coaching for a couple of years. A few years back. So which kind of really helped me with my techniques and you know getting rid of the bad techniques that have become a part of me, and those can be hard to shake.
Yeah, but as well, you know, the bad techniques sometimes make you your own mark, your own print, your own unique voice.
Yeah,
Like,
of course, that's
like
true.
take
But
for
also to
example,
get rid of the
yeah,
things that could hurt my voice,
like
things
for
like that.
example, Mike Trump is from Denmark as well, from White Lion.
Yeah,
He didn't have the perfect voice, but he has his voice. You know that is Mike Trump.
such a unique voice, amazing
Yeah,
singer. Yeah, you know
yeah.
it straight away.
And I am pushing Fernando to say, I want to interview him. Please let me do it one. Because
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I don't know, David Coverdale is so hard to interview. I had Miljanko Matijevic, and I was like, okay, I'm interviewing
You
Miljanko.
interviewed?
Yeah, yes,
No
I was
way.
crying. I felt like
Oh my God.
you know, fangirl. I'm interviewing Miljanko, and he sang because he did something really nice, like about all the world united together for war, Ukraine, and whatever was going on in the world. So he made an amazing piece translated in all the language. So he had to learn all this language, and he sang a piece in Italian. And I was like,
Wow.
okay. And I wanted to ask him, can you please make the high notes of She's Gone, please? Can you make that? But I didn't want it to be more like, you know, I did, or like Sheila, that song that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
one of the
man.
best songs, Sheila.
Yeah. He's one of my singing idols. I absolutely
and
love him.
he's an amazing person. He's a professional. You see that he's a perfectionist. He has a strict schedule, but he's pure and he's honest. When he speak with you. He's not like, you know, when sometimes you get an interview with band, they are so used to the interview that it's almost they have answer already ready, but of course because they are used to. He just like change. He's so fresh as well. They said, what the fuck, that's Miljanko Matijevic still today with this fucking voice, perfect.
Amazing.
And he said, and when I asked him an advice, he said, I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol, that's all I did. And I said, lucky you. So, but of course, I mean, we will see your album coming back to you, like your album, like in this year or maybe next year.
End of this year, beginning of next year.
Okay,
we're not entirely sure yet.
So you will be releasing a single during the year. We will see how other
we'll be getting a lot of singles.
That's good.
Yeah,
and they will go chronologically as well from your life. Like 15 years old, 19 years old.
Not exactly. We're not planning that particularly.
Okay, and of course, but because of course, for people who don't know, Ready for the Tagging has as well a video clip. So you're planning to release the video clip, other video clips with the band?
Yeah. Of course, we'll do more music videos for the singles.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And now my favorite part, that you know, but she's my favorite part, and the tough one that you're gonna hate me for that. Okay, so. Okay, now we dig a little bit more about your influences, of course, and we dig in your influences in a way that many musicians really hate me. So I tell you to pick up 5 albums and 5 singer. This time we add 5 singers. You saw 5 album, can be even as well album of singers, and 5 singer. Okay. Let's go with the album first of the band.
Okay, go the albums.
Number 1.
I need to think of this for hours before I can give you a decent answer. But okay, in no particular order.
No, just freely.
I think because I'm a complete Iron Maiden nutcase.
Okay.
I've got to pick one of their many brilliant albums.
Yeah, of course,
and that could honestly be any of the first 7 albums they released, and definitely. I mean, the first 5 they released with Bruce in the 80s were
of course,
amazing. I think Number of the Beast will probably be my favorite Iron Maiden album. Definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, we have 1.
Yeah, that's 1. Okay, then we've got I think Journey. The first album they released when they got Steve Perry as a singer.
Yeah,
amazing
band. That's amazing. Journey is a journey of a band. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be the album Infinity.
Yeah. And the third,
The Who. I've got to put it the Who album. Who's Next is an absolutely killer album, and one of the first rock albums I heard.
Rock classic.
Last 2.
Last 2.
Oh, what have we got? I suppose I think I've got to put Boston's debut album on there.
Okay, another classic of hard rock,
Amazing.
70s hard rock, really amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, imagine releasing that as your debut album. Wow.
yeah.
And finally, I think my number one album of all time, and this is a bit of
Okay,
an outlier, is
okay.
Jeff Buckley's Grace
Jeff Buckley,
from
the
1990
voice,
or
oh my God,
something.
his voice is so really touching to the bones. You feel it in the bones and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
muscle, each layer of your
ha-
skin.
yeah. How
Yes,
you can express so
yeah,
much emotion through just
yeah.
a
It's a
single
really
voice
emotional.
and a guitar.
You hear
Yeah,
and cry. You
he's
hear and
amazing.
cry. A pair of
Yeah,
Kleenex, white and white. Yeah. And
yeah.
move on to the singers.
My favorite singers. Okay, that's easier because I've had
Yeah.
15 years to think about this
Okay. So
and
that's it.
thought.
It's not a tricky one. It's easier.
Yeah, so this one I'm ready for. So
Okay.
my favorite singer of all time is Steve Perry of Journey. He's just
Okay.
got a voice that would melt butter. I love Steve Perry.
It's
Um,
amazing.
and another is Brad Delp from Boston. Another of these guys who can just sing these high notes like they're
Mm,
nothing.
yeah.
He's an amazing singer.
That's what we need. High
Um,
notes are underrated. High notes in the music
yeah,
are underrated.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What else have we got? I've got to put Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
His voice
The
goes
sounds he
high noise for
the,
forever.
the sounds he can make are
Decades.
just
Decades.
inhuman. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like an animal.
Yeah.
Um, I think Mili Matijevic has always been one of my top singers of
Yeah.
all time. I
Yeah.
absolutely adore
The
him.
movie Rockstar, the back vocals he did.
Exactly,
I
yes.
thought that it was the biography, the movie of Still Art, but it wasn't. I think it was
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of a Judas Priest inspired
Yeah,
stuff.
it was a kind of
And I
Judas
was like,
Priest story.
I was
Yeah,
like, because even the actor, they put it like he looks like Miyanko. So I was like, what the fuck? It's not in the, but he made
yeah,
amazing. So we have
yeah, yeah.
last I think singer left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Who's gonna be?
I think a singer called Steve Marriott, who
Okay.
sang in Humble Pie, and just so much feeling in his voice and so much grit and emotion and
That's amazing.
high notes. Again, I mean, I'm a sucker for the
Yeah,
high notes.
that's amazing, because like I told you, they are fucking underrated. So it's good to hear that I'm not the only one to think about that. And of
Yeah,
course, now we move to the other one, which I added something new, respect the last time that people don't know that, but we did it. And I said, okay, since you are, as me, love the 80s, we move back with a time machine on the Sunset Strip. You are the owner of a venue and you're planning to do 2 days of a festival. Okay, so it's a festival. You have to choose not only this time the name of the festival and the band. It can be one band. It's up to you, the band, but as well the name of the venue. So
all
because
right.
there is Whiskey a Go Go, Rainbow. I can say you are the owner of Whiskey a Go Go. It's not fair, so it's your own venue. So you have to choose two names of event, venue, and bands.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
I
Okay,
do
I'll do my best.
one tough. I've tried something new.
Okay, I'll do my best here. We can
Yeah.
start with the bands at least. So I've
Okay.
got a 2 day festival. Let's say the first is rock and the second is heavy metal.
Okay.
I
That's
can
good.
kind of split it
To
up.
be in bounds.
So yeah. So on Rock Day,
Okay.
we've got to have if we're going for an 80s vibe, then we need Van Halen.
Of course. Open
Love Van
headliner.
Halen. Always a party.
Headliner.
Um,
Of course.
Headliner. Yeah. Oh yes, of course. Uh, can we do Van Halen again? So once with
Yes,
David Lee
of
Roth,
course.
once with Sammy Hagar.
Yes, of course you can do it. Of course. I mean,
Or
it's a
maybe
go
we can.
perfectly. It goes
How much
perfectly.
money do I need to get them on stage together? Do you think?
You have free up amount of money. You are super rich
Right. All
and
right, they can
blessed.
play on stage together then. Also, what else have we got? Drawing a blank. We're going for an 80s vibes. So, I mean, Steelheart. I'd love to get Steelheart there.
That's amazing. I will be in first crowd.
All right, you're on the first row. I think I'll be on the first row too.
Yeah.
And I'm just rehashing the bands we've mentioned because I've never seen Winger before. I've seen Kip twice, but never Winger.
Okay.
Winger never come to
So
Denmark.
Winger
So
have to be there. Has
Winger
to be
have to be
there.
there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, So what's that? That's 3 bands so far.
Yeah, you can just have, do a 3 band, 4 bands. It doesn't have a certain number. It can be just even headlining. It doesn't have to be huge festival. Just you are the owner of the venue. It's up to you.
All right, yeah, we'll bring along Aerosmith as well because they
Okay.
cancelled the last gig I was supposed to see them play. So
Okay.
I've never seen them either.
Okay.
And I guess that's the rock day. And heavy metal day, that's pretty
Okay.
easy. Put Iron Maiden on there, Judas Priest, bring Dio back from the dead and get him playing.
Okay. Amazing.
Queensryche and Black Sabbath. There we go.
Perfect. And the name of the festival?
Name of the festival? Well, we've had the biggest, I suppose one of the biggest rock festivals was
Okay.
Woodstock, right? So if we
Yeah,
update
exactly.
that to the 80s, we can call that Rockstock.
Okay, Rockstock. Okay, perfect. So I don't think it does exist, but I'm not sure about it. And for the name of the venue?
Oh shit. Well, I don't drink a lot, so let's call it Whiskey and No No.
Whiskey, no, I like it, perfect, because I don't drink too much either. I don't drink either completely. So whiskey and so maybe I will do whiskey and so.
Yeah, whiskey so.
Okay, perfect. But really, that was really fun. And about regarding the current project, of course, the single has been released. There's some live that as well you're planning for the future, or that you will leave it like for after the album will be released.
Well, we've got to sit down and figure out which songs on the album we want to release as singles first.
Okay.
So I'll have a chat with the band and with the record label and kind of see if we can agree on which ones we want to release first. And then we'll get the album out later in the year or next year, and then we'll be on tour. And I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that.
That would be fucking amazing. Of course, there's some country that you're willing to go, want to go more than others. Like I can't wait to be there. Or countries.
It would be amazing. I'd love to. The UK. I'm from the UK, and I've never seen the show in the UK. I've never played in the UK, but I have this kind of faux nostalgic feeling from just watching documentaries of bands playing in the UK, and it would just be amazing to go back and try that for myself.
That's amazing. And really, I want to thank you again for everything, even for being so patient with me. Really.
Of course, the pleasure's all mine. I hope we get to chat again soon.
Yeah, of course. We will have, I don't know, the album release interview, the 5th single release interview, the tour interview, maybe face-to-face interview in the tour live as well.
And yeah, that would be great.
Of course. It's hard rock, and I stay here in Sicily, locked out in the south. I travel, so. And
amazing.
So I was gonna say thank you again, Michael, and let's stay in touch. I will write you for arranging the details, like the day and whatever. So private details, I will arrange for that. And thank you again. And see you soon then for the next interview, basically. Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
You too. Cheers. Bye.
I'm ready to be taken by you.